And welcome back to our community. Susie Thomas visiting with Fern Basinski and Melinda Robb there with the House of Hope, which is all under Pregnancy Choices. I'm always amazed at everything that Pregnancy Choices has to offer, but even care for someone who chose abortion and now regrets that choice, and you are there to help them pick up the pieces. And beyond that, with Refuge, other types of grief, and Unbound, just kind of taking a look at looking at the past and some hurts of the past and being able to go back and grieve that and learn from it and move on and move forward without carrying guilt along with. You're all about dumping baggage, aren't you?
Yes.
And
Good wording.
you're seeing that it's possible to do, just kind of dumping that baggage and move on. I've heard about, forgive and forget. Some things we can't forget. How do you move on from those things that you really can't forget?
That's right. A lot of people like to throw out that terminology, forgive and forget. But because we're human, God can forget because he's God.
Right.
But we're human. We can't forget. And the fact that we don't forget really should tell us something. It should tell us that wound is still raw and needs to be healed if we can't forget. But once we're healed, we don't forget, but we just look at it differently. We have a whole new perspective. We don't forget the tragedy that's happened to us, but we do handle it differently, and we are able to move on and remember it in a different way. And that's what happens with the post-abortive women. They are remembering, they're not remembering now the tragedy of that abortion and the picture of what that comes into their mind. They're not remembering. They've got a new memory now, a memory of honoring that child and connecting with that child. And so it's a whole new perspective.
Years and years ago, I went to a retreat, and that's almost exactly what the focus of that was healing the hurt of the memory and healing the memory of the hurt. And both of those things sounds like what you're doing. Here's good news. You're taking this on the road. You've got a really cool retreat that you are actually taking this show out on the road to churches and so forth. Tell me what you're up to now.
Well, we're really excited about this. Melinda and I don't even remember how this happened. I think one of our clients who had gone through one or two of our groups, who was a pastor's wife, said, wow, I want the women in my church to hear about this. I want them to know about this. So she said, would you do a retreat, an overnight retreat? And we did. And it was above and beyond anything that we even thought would happen. God showed up in such a powerful way, and women were literally healed through the retreat, but they still wanted to go through a longer version, go through the Bible study, and get the deeper healing that they could get. So after that, we were asked again. We prayed about that, and we said, well, if someone comes again and asks us, then we'll kind of know God wants us to do that. And within a week, a woman who didn't even know that we did that retreat came and said, would you come to my church and do a retreat? And so we did another overnighter, and it was wonderful. It's just God. This is so God. He is in this. And so now it's called Renewal on the Road. And we will come to your church. We will do an overnight, or we will do a day, whichever you prefer. And we bring everything with us to help women recognize where they may be hurting, where they may be stuck, where they may need some help. And it's also fun, and we do a lot of fun projects together. We talk about being authentic, being real, being genuine, and allowing those walls to come down and create that deep intimacy with Christ that we all long for.
You are making a lot of people's day right now. First of all, whoever is in charge of the programming for their women's retreat just said, "Okay, hot dog, that's taken care of." But also the true healing that people can look forward to experiencing when they do this. Tell us a little bit about what these retreats look like. Let's talk about just the day long. I mean, when you're talking about serious issues, how can you begin to do some healing in a day-long deal?
Well, we surprise them because there we are, two chicks, looking like we really got it all together.
Yeah, you do.
We do. And we've got our nice clothes on and our smiles.
Very cute earrings, yeah, I got to say. Yes.
And we stand up there. I usually start, and I stand up and I give my testimony. And this usually knocks them flat out.
All
because
the walls fall down there.
All the walls fell down. They are crying. They are relating to so many things that I've said about my life. And then Melinda gets up, and she really knocks them over. I mean, you can't hear a pin drop with our testimonies because, we haven't always belonged to Christ, and we haven't always walked that straight and narrow. So we've got some past, and doesn't everyone?
Everyone's been something else. Yes.
That's right. And so by us sharing and being vulnerable and authentic and open, they feel, I can do that too. Or maybe I can do that. Maybe I will do that. So that just starts us off with our testimonies.
How much sharing do the participants have to do? Because some might be saying, I'd love to come to this, but I don't want to say anything.
We tell all of our group participants that nobody has to share anything that they are not comfortable with. But by the time we get to a place where they're going to do an art project as a group, they are ready to share. We have found in the retreats that we've done, they are ready to open up. They are ready to let the walls come down. I don't know how God does it. He uses us. He uses the atmosphere. He uses the fun. He uses it all, and he just brings it together. And the women say, "Yeah, I want that. I want that authenticity that I see in you two gals."
What's the difference between the day long and the overnight? Is it timed out the same, just different times of day, or is the overnight a little bit of a longer one, or how do you work that?
The overnight begins usually with dinner on a Friday evening, and it's just more time for us to get to know each other and to bond a little bit. And then, of course, they're going to have a time before bed where they can do games, and they bring their board games and a lot of fun and food and do that. So it's more of an overnight. Some women prefer the overnight. They need to get together overnight with gals. So that's the overnighter. But basically, we will do the same things in an overnighter as we will do in the day. We just have more time.
And does the overnight take place at their church as well? Or, are there people like me who's like, can we do the overnight at a hotel? So
we've done a hotel, which was wonderful. And we've done a bed and breakfast where we had the whole bed and breakfast.
Oh, that'd be
fun.
We
had about 12 gals in that, and it was great. It was
That sounds
wonderful.
Awesome, actually.
So it would really be creative, ladies, out there. If you're thinking about this for your church, I would just encourage you, be creative. But women do like to spend the night in a nice room.
Yes, and have really good muffins in the morning.
Yes.
It's nice sticky buns or something in the morning that somebody's made from scratch.
After what we've been talking about the night before, you need sticky buns in the morning.
Yeah, just a little something, yes. Well, and yes, again, how much in depth do you go in at a retreat, or is it something that's more like an appetizer where people say, now I want the full course meal and I'd like to sign up for one of these groups? What are you finding?
Well, we're finding that it's, like you said, it's a whetting of the appetite. Once they hear our stories, because, we become so familiar with our stories that we don't realize that they are a big deal. That is some baggage that we're carrying around until we really decide to look at it and examine it. So it doesn't get too in-depth. Maybe when they do some of the art projects, some feelings will come up. But like Fern said, we don't ever force anybody to share anything they don't want to share. This
Right.
is a very free,
And you have fun?
Oh, my gosh, yes.
Let's talk about the fun things. What do you do? What makes it so fun?
Well, we have little treats that we have for them throughout the weekend, little cards and letters, and we just affirm them so much through these cards and letters and the little things that we do, the surprises that we have for them. And, of course, they make their own fun. If it's an overnighter, we have that whole fun thing before bedtime, and we laugh a lot, and we smile a lot, and we're non-threatening, and we're very safe.
It sounds like you're really geared into women and the kinds of things women want. I'm picturing giving each other mani-pedis before a slumber party, I love it. Just all that kind of thing going on. While you're talking about deep stuff, what does a person do to get you to come to their church? How do they get signed up for Renewal on the Road?
Well, they would contact me or Melinda, and I can give that phone number. They can email. I can give them the email address.
Okay, let's do that. What's a good number to call?
330-479-1583.
Okay, say it one more time, please.
330-479-1583.
And that is to contact you and
Yes.
say, we'd love to have this brought to our church.
Yes.
Is there anything on the website? Well, I should answer that. Let me see. Let me see if there is. I believe we need to get Renewal on the Road up there, but we do have things about portraits and refuge and Unbound. So for that, go to PC, a lowercase p and a lowercase c, and that would be for Pregnancy Choices, PCPartnersForLife.org. Again, that's PCPartnersForLife.org. And again, we'll show you how you can hook up with Fern or Melinda. And that sounds awesome. Favorite thing? I mean, you obviously love what you do. What gets you up in the morning? What's your favorite part of the day?
My favorite part of the day is knowing that I have a group that's going to be meeting that day, and I'm going to prepare for those women. I'm going to prepare through prayer. I'm going to prepare through looking over the lesson. I'm going to prepare just by listening to worship music and just praying and knowing that God cares so much about these women and loves them so much and wants them healed. I'm excited because at first it's hard because they're having to relive that pain, but I know what's up the road for them, and that's my joy. I know the healing that's coming, and that's where I get my joy.
And that's part of the road. It's not just you taking this program to them, but the road ahead for them as well.
Yes.
They are ready to do renewal on their road, each individual's road. Melinda, how about you?
Well, I have to agree with Fern. It's the women. When there's a group to do, we pray for these women all week long, and we just really encourage them to dig deep and really, because they get out of these groups what they put into it. We really
Yes.
encourage them to do the hard work. And for me, every group, I get a deeper healing every time I go through a group. Even though I'm facilitating, God is still touching me with his healing hands. So it's just a win-win.
Even as a facilitator.
Even as a facilitator.
So do
he's
you
showing.
take people who've gone through the group then to be volunteers maybe for future groups? Is that a possibility?
Absolutely. That's how I got there. I came to Pregnancy Choices to volunteer and found out that I needed healing from an abortion. And partway through, like I said before, I knew that I wasn't the only one walking around with this secret and this burden. And so that's how I came to be working side by side with Fern. So that's a great way to get plugged in.
And we all benefit from that partnership. This has been awesome. All right, let's give these, again, it's Renewal on the Road. Call 330-479-1583. It's the House of Hope, and it's Fern Basinski and Melinda Robb. Thanks so much for all you do in our community.
Thanks,
Thanks,
Susie.
Susie.